Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news folks, let's dive into what's happening with the Detroit Lions right now, because it's a story that's definitely going to shake up the NFC North and could have serious repercussions for their Super Bowl ambitions this season. The Lions, as many of you know, started the year with high expectations. After a somewhat rough Week 1 loss to the Green Bay Packers, many fans wondered if this team was going to hit some rough patches early on. But as the season progressed, the Lions showed resilience, grit, and a real talent for bouncing back from setbacks. Jared Goff has been leading this offense with precision, and the defense, especially when healthy, has been one of the most formidable units in the league. But as always in the NFL, injuries are part of the game, and this time, it's hitting Detroit right where it hurts. The big news that's reverberating across Lions Nation right now is about their cornerback, DJ Reed. Yes, Reed, who joined Detroit in the offseason after a solid stint with the Jets, is headed to the injured reserve list. And this isn't just a minor setback, it's a significant blow. Reed, who's been a key player in their secondary, is out for at least the next 4 weeks. That's a tough pill to swallow, especially considering his impact on the field. Reed, who cost the Lions a hefty $48 million, has been a starter and a playmaker. In just 4 games this season, he racked up 16 tackles, 4 pass breakups, an interception, and a fumble recovery. That's the kind of production that can turn the tide in close games, and losing him temporarily could create some vulnerabilities for Detroit's secondary. Now, the injury itself is a hamstring strain, suffered last Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. Initially, there was some concern that it might be worse. Some feared a tear or even a rupture that would require surgery. But thankfully, that's not the case. Reed himself was spotted in the locker room without a boot or brace, which is a good sign. According to ESPN's Eric Woodyard, Reed was initially worried that he might have torn the hamstring off the bone, which would have meant a much longer recovery and more serious implications. But as he said himself, thank God, it's not as bad as he thought. He's optimistic about returning in the 4-week window, and the Lions are doing what they can to patch things up in the meantime. The team responded swiftly to this injury. They placed Reed on reserve injured, which means they'll be without him for a period. But they also moved to strengthen the roster by signing safety Lauren Strickland and linebacker Ty Summers from the practice squad. These additions are crucial because, with Reed out, the Lions need to maintain that tough, physical presence in their secondary. Plus, they've signed cornerbacks Tree Flowers and Nick Whiteside to the practice squad, giving them some depth and options to rotate in as needed. It's a strategic move by the coaching staff to keep that defensive unit competitive even with key players sidelined. But let's not forget that Reed isn't the only cornerback dealing with injuries. Terrion Arnold, another starting CB for Detroit, also suffered a shoulder injury last weekend. The latest reports indicate that Arnold practiced in a limited capacity on Wednesday, so there's hope he'll be able to contribute soon. The Lions' secondary was already under pressure with Reed's absence, and now with Arnold's issue, it's clear that the coaching staff has its hands full. The team's resilience will be tested in the coming weeks, but if there's one thing that's been impressive about Detroit, it's their ability to adapt and find solutions when adversity strikes. Now, for those of you who have been tracking the Lions all season, it's no secret that this team has been on an upward trajectory. Jared Goff has been stellar, orchestrating this offense with poise and precision. The running game has been solid, and the defense, when healthy, has been among the best in the league, especially in creating turnovers and pressure on opposing quarterbacks. That said, losing a player like Reed, who's so integral to their pass defense, could slow down that momentum temporarily. But Detroit has shown in the past that they're capable of overcoming setbacks, and this season is no different. The coaching staff, especially head coach Dan Campbell, has emphasized toughness and depth, and this injury scenario will be a real test of that philosophy. Looking at the bigger picture, the Lions are fighting for a playoff spot, and every game counts. They're currently positioned well in the NFC North, but the Packers, Vikings, and Bears aren't making it easy. The division is tight, and each team has its own strengths and weaknesses. For Detroit, maintaining their edge on defense will be critical, especially now that they're missing a key player in Reed. But with the talent they have on the roster, and with players like Jared Goff leading the charge, there's hope that they can sustain their success. The coaching staff will need to get creative, perhaps leaning more on their other defensive backs, and scheming to cover for Reed's absence while they push for a deep playoff run. It's also worth noting that this injury news comes at a time when the Lions are looking to solidify their identity as a team that can win in different ways. Whether it's through their explosive passing game, their physical running attack, or their opportunistic defense, Detroit has shown flashes of elite-level football. But injuries like this remind us how fragile success can be in the NFL and how every player's health is paramount. Fans should be optimistic but also realistic. These next few weeks will be crucial in determining just how far this Lions team can go this season. As we look ahead, there's a lot to be excited about despite the hurdles. The Lions have a talented roster, with Jared Goff executing at a high level, and a defense that, when fully healthy, can compete with anyone. The emergence of young players and the leadership of veterans continue to be a bright spot. But the key now is how well they can adapt without Reed and Arnold for the time being. That's where coaching ingenuity and player resilience will come into play. The NFC North is still very much up for grabs, and Detroit's ability to stay focused and overcome these injuries could define their season. And let me tell you, Detroit fans, this is exactly the kind of challenge that tests a team's character. It's a chance for the Lions to show that they're more than just a good team. They're a resilient, fighting unit that can rise above adversity. The next few games will be pivotal, not just for their playoff hopes, but for establishing their identity as a true contender. The fans' support, the unity of the team, and their collective effort on the field are going to be essential in these times. So keep your spirits high, stay loud at the games, and believe in this squad, because if there's one thing we've learned about the Lions, it's that they never give up and they always find a way to bounce back. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Lions will need to rally around each other and maximize their depth. Players like Trey Flowers and Nick Whiteside, even though they're new to the active roster, will have to step up and deliver when called upon. It's a team effort, and that's what's always been so impressive about Detroit: their depth, their fight, and their ability to adapt. This injury, while a setback, could also serve as a catalyst for other players to step into bigger roles and prove their worth. It's a moment that could define the season, and if the Lions manage to stay afloat and continue winning, it will be a testament to their resilience and coaching staff's strategic acumen. In the end, we all know that football is a game of inches, a game of mental toughness, and a game where injuries are just part of the journey. The Lions are no strangers to overcoming adversity, and this latest setback, although challenging, is just another chapter in their story of perseverance. Fans can look forward to seeing how they respond, how they rally around their injured teammates, and how they continue to fight for every inch on that field. The NFC North is still theirs to take if they play their cards right, and with players like Jared Goff leading the charge and a defense that can bounce back, the future is still bright for Detroit. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. Keep the faith, keep rooting for your team, and let's keep this incredible Lions community growing. Thanks for being with me today, and as always, stay passionate, stay loud, and let's go Lions.